Ah, the Wild West, a place where men were men, horses were horses, and saloons were, well, wild. Ever wonder who ran those bustling hubs of booze, gambling, and occasional gunfights? It wasn't the sheriff, the cowboy, or the gold prospector. No, it was the saloon madam, a woman of business, charm, and a knack for keeping rowdy cowpokes in line. But don't be fooled by the glamorous gowns and sparkling jewelry. The life of a saloon madam was anything but a wild party. Buckle up, partner, as we saddle up for a ride into the untamed world of the Wild West's most intriguing profession, the rise of the saloon madam. Long ago, in the Wild West, there was a big wild place where people lived by their own rules. Here, people wrote their own rules and territories governed themselves. It was full of excitement and danger. Back then, there weren't many jobs for women, but some brave ladies found a way to be independent uniquely. Now, imagine dusty saloons with the sound of poker chips and laughter in the air. In this captivating setting, some women took center stage, conquering the gambling tables with wit and charm. How did these elegant ladies make their mark in a world of rough and tough men? Well, a group of audacious women emerged. They were determined to make their path and challenge what society thought was right. They embraced a life that would be considered scandalous by the conservative standards of their time, entering a profession known as the sporting life, a euphemism for the sex trade. These women were not weak or helpless. They were like pioneers who made their own way. They became the bosses of the Wild West, starting businesses and making lots of money. They were strong and clever, overcoming many challenges in a world where men were usually in charge and things could get violent. Each of these women had a unique story that showcased their tenacity and spirit. Some were skilled gamblers who earned respect and wealth at card tables. Some established thriving brothels and saloons in the lawless towns that dotted the frontier. But there was more to their lives than just their daring professions. Some of them had exciting love stories, too. For example, one woman from Hungary fell in love with a famous gunslinger, which made her famous too, making her a notorious figure in her own right. Another madam, known for her eccentricities, ran brothels and saloons, standing out in the bustling mining towns with her silver-adorned teeth. But not all their stories ended happily. One beloved madam met a tragic fate, becoming a martyr in her community. Her brutal murder shook the townspeople. This leads to one of the most massive manhunts in the history of the Wild West. These women showed what the Wild West was all about. It was a place where you had to be strong and break free from the rules of society to survive, and where courage and resilience paved the way to success. These pioneers proved that being a woman didn't stop them from being independent and successful. They challenged what people thought women could do and left a significant mark in history that we still remember today. Former saloon girls. Let's go back to the captivating era of the Wild West. It was a place where right and wrong sometimes got mixed up. It is also when some brave and daring women took control of their lives. Among them were powerful madams, who didn't follow society's rules and embraced their pasts. Imagine dusty old saloons on the frontier where tough men sought comfort from the wild outdoors. In the noise and laughter, some remarkable women stood out. They used to work as saloon girls, but they became madams later on. These women had experienced a tough life and were once called soiled doves. But how did their past experiences help them become successful madams? Let's meet Dora Dufran, also known as Amy Helen Dorothea Bolshaw. She went from being a performer and a working girl to becoming a successful entrepreneur. Dora opened several saloons and parlors in South Dakota in the late 1900s. Her past experiences played a big part in her success as a madam. They gave her a unique understanding of the business. But Dora wasn't the only one to make this transformation. There was also Maddie Silks, who proudly called herself the youngest madam in the West. She was just 19 years old when she entered the world of madams. Drawing from her previous life as a working girl, she paved her way to success. Maddie was strong and didn't take nonsense from anyone, which made her a force to be reckoned with. Now let's go back to the California Gold Rush in 1849. Dance halls became popular places, not just for playing games, but also for dancing. Imagine the dance hall girls, charming their customers with graceful moves and smiles. They would charge 75 cents to $1 for a dance, and they would share the money with the saloon owner. But their real skill was guiding their dance partners to buy drinks at the bar, where they earned extra money. These former saloon girls, who later became madams, knew the business inside out. Their experiences had sharpened their business, giving the strength to thrive in a world where opportunities for women were scarce. As we dive into history and learn about these incredible women, get ready to discover more about the Wild West and the fascinating life of saloon madams. Saloon madam can fight too. In a lively town called Virginia City, Nevada, there were some very strong and impressive women known as madams. These women were in charge of places where people could go to have fun, and they were not afraid of any trouble that came their way. One such remarkable madam was named Cad Thompson. Imagine a place that never closed and is always open for business. This is where smoke filled the air and you could feel the tension and excitement in the atmosphere. This was the kind of place Cad Thompson ran. But she wasn't just any ordinary madam. She was a clever and sharp businesswoman who demanded respect from everyone she met. She even stood her ground against her workers. One fateful day, a heated disagreement erupted between Thompson and Mary Livingston. One day, Cad got into a big argument with one of her employees named Mary Livingston. The disagreement became so intense that it turned into a full-blown fight. Can you believe it? Cad was tough and didn't back down. She showed Mary she was not someone to mess with and kicked her out of the boarding house where they all lived. Now, you might be wondering if Mary sought justice for what happened. She took Cad to court, hoping for some fairness. But guess what? In a surprising turn of events, Cad was found innocent of any wrongdoing. She was just too powerful for the legal system to handle. The sheer force of personality that Cad Thompson exuded is unbelievable. But hold on, there's more drama in this town. These madams had not only exciting business lives, but also very eventful personal lives. Take Jenny Rogers, for example, a woman who knew how to take matters into her own hands when it came to heart matters. When she found her lover with another woman, she didn't cry or walk away quietly. Oh no, you wouldn't expect what Jenny did. She chose a different path, a much more dramatic one. In a fit of passion and fury, she reached for a weapon and pulled the trigger. Her lover survived, but Jenny made it clear that crossing a madam was a risky thing to do. Remarkably, Jenny Rogers faced no legal repercussions for this act of jealousy-fueled violence. It seemed that in the world of madams, the laws of society often bent to accommodate their fierce independence and unyielding determination. They were a breed apart, defying conventions and writing their stories with a boldness that kept everyone on their toes. But just remember, in the wild world of Virginia City, crossing paths with a madam was never for the faint of heart. Who else will emerge from the shadows with a story to tell? Only time will reveal the next captivating chapter in the lives of these daring women. Stay tuned to discover more about these badass madams. Business Saloon Madam. Over the lawlessness, a group of audacious women emerged. The fierce and savvy madams were more than just purveyors of pleasure. Can you imagine when women took charge of their destinies? Recognizing the value of money and putting their business acumen to good use? Some madams like Maddie Silks and Jenny Rogers proved to be more than entrepreneurs. They were pioneers of their own making. These women were shrewd businesswomen, using their wits and determination to make their mark on the frontier. One of these remarkable women was named Maddie Silks. She started working in a special type of business when she was young, but she didn't stay in the shadows. Instead, she became a powerful and successful businesswoman. Maddie knew how to run her brothels. She devised clever ideas to make her brothels famous, like organizing big parades that made everyone in town notice them. Thanks to her clever thinking, Maddie's brothel became one of the most popular ones in the city. Then there was another courageous lady named Jenny Rogers. She came from places called Philadelphia and St. Louis to Denver. She had a special trademark emerald earrings that made her stand out. She set her sights on becoming a prominent madam. But what led her on this path of entrepreneurship? Jenny had a dream to become a very important madam, even more successful than Maddie Silks. So she bought a small house and worked hard to make it happen. Her journey from a farmer's daughter to a successful business owner was truly fascinating. But these women were not just good at their own business, they were also very smart entrepreneurs. Maddie did something extraordinary by getting a special permit to sell liquor in her establishment, which was rare then. Jenny Rogers, on the other hand, didn't shy away from investing her earnings in Denver's irrigation. She also invested in reservoir infrastructure. Such bold moves not only increased her profits, but also left an indelible mark on the city's development. But wait, these fantastic women didn't stop there. They had enough money to lend to other women, helping them start their own businesses too. They were not just madams running brothels. They took part in other business opportunities and played a big role in shaping the Wild West's changing landscape. Isn't that incredible? Hold on tight as we delve into more captivating lives of saloon madams in the Wild West, dealing with the criminals of the Wild West. Long ago, when there were no strict rules and cowboys and outlaws roamed freely on the wild frontier, something unusual happened. The bad guys who broke the law had some unexpected friends. These friends were the people who ran fancy places called parlors. You might wonder why criminals and parlors would have anything to do with each other. Well, hold on to your hats, because we're about to dive into a tale filled with intrigue, friendship, and daring escapades. Right in the middle of all this was a clever woman named Fanny Porter. She ran a parlor and had a surprising secret. She was friends with none other than the famous Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Yes, you heard that right. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid are leaders of the notorious Wild Bunch gang, and they found comfort and friendship in the most unexpected place, Fanny Porter's parlor. It was within those walls that they held their final meetup in 1901, where they talked about their daring robberies and narrow escapes from the law. Now let's talk about the women who worked in these parlors. They were also involved in criminal activities, but not what you might think. Their profession was illegal, and the police could have caught them. However, thanks to their intelligent madams and a bit of bribery, they managed to avoid getting caught. It was like a game of cat and mouse, a dance between temptation and justice. But as with any story of the Wild West, there was a darker side to this intriguing world. In 1891, Denver, Colorado saw a shocking crime that would send shivers down your spine. 4 working girls, Ardell Smith, Blanche Morgan, Maddie Fisher, and Molly White, were arrested for a terrible crime. They had poisoned a customer with a deadly drug called morphine just to steal his money. The Wild West is a world where danger lurked around every corner. Even the most glamorous parlors could not escape the shadow of darkness. So as we journey through the pages of history, remember that the Wild West was a place of dichotomy and surprise. How many more untold stories lie hidden in the annals of history? So, let's keep our eyes open as we uncover the next thrilling story, donating charity for the community. Imagine a world where some special women were in charge and were famous for running successful businesses. But they were also really kind and cared about helping their community. These fantastic women didn't just keep the money for themselves. Instead, they used it to make the lives of people around them better, enriching the lives of those around them in ways that would leave you questioning everything you thought you knew. You might wonder, how on earth did these infamous figures find themselves engaging in acts of charity? Well, they knew that people judged them because of their job, so they wanted to show everyone that they were good-hearted too. This is to establish social support programs that would warm the hearts of even the most skeptical critics. The madams of the Wild West held the community's welfare close to their hearts. They knew that supporting those in need would win them favor with the people, so they did just that. They started programs to help those in need, like giving clothes and school supplies to poor children. They also gave lots of books to the local library so kids could learn and explore new things, opening the doors of possibility to eager minds. But even though they did so much good, some people still didn't treat them kindly. While charities gladly accepted their money and goods, they did so with a cold shoulder. They accepted the madam's help, but didn't want to be friends with them or say thank you in public. It was confusing because even when they did something wonderful, some people couldn't see past their old judgments. It was a perplexing paradox where the gratitude for their contributions was marred by bad judgment. Despite the mixed reactions, the madams knew they had to do things right. They understood that avoiding taxes or offending the locals could spell disaster for their businesses. One remarkable woman was Jessie Reeves, a beacon of generosity in her community. Her heart overflowed with compassion, and she channeled her resources to make a real difference. Children were blessed with her benevolence, and the homeless found comfort in her kindness. But her generosity didn't stop there. She didn't just help kids and homeless people. When there was a dangerous fire, she ensured the firefighters had blankets and food to keep them going. Jessie Reeves truly made a difference and inspired others to be kind too. As they grappled with both gratitude and judgment, they proved that sometimes the most intriguing stories are the ones that challenge our perceptions. How many more untold stories lie hidden in the folds of history, waiting for us to peel back the layers of intrigue? Stay awake for the next one. Madams have families too. As we journey through history, we'll discover that madams were not just fierce businesswomen. They were also mothers, leading lives as complex as they were captivating. Can't you believe that? They led fascinating and complicated lives that were full of love and family. One exceptional woman was Mattie Silks. A woman of many loves and many lives, Silks knew that family was more than just blood. She loved many people and went through many experiences, including getting married multiple times. What was unexpected was that she became a mother, not in the usual way, but through adoption. Can you imagine the journey that led to the adoption of the daughter or granddaughter of her lover Court Thompson? It's a touching story that shows the softer side of these tough women. Now let's talk about Madame Sue Fee in the town of Boulder, Colorado. She had a beloved family too, but life in the Wild West was hard, sadly. She left behind a young son when she passed away in 1877. What could have been the circumstances that shaped this woman's life and the legacy she left behind for her child? Moving on to Texas, there's Squirrel Tooth Alice, also known as Mary Elizabeth Libby Haley Thompson. She defied conventions in more ways than one. This trailblazing woman bore the weight of 9 children. And it's a fact that beckons us to this question: what kind of challenges and triumphs did she face as she navigated the world of madams and the realm of motherhood? Well, the twists and turns of her life don't stop there. She had a husband named William Thompson, and history whispers of secrets and mysteries surrounding the paternity of at least 3 of her children. How did this enigmatic woman manage to balance it all? Being a madam in those times was already difficult, but being a mother added another layer of challenges. These women likely faced many obstacles in their lives. As mothers, they must have experienced both happiness and difficulties in raising a big family. They loved their children deeply and made sacrifices to ensure their well-being and future. They also kept their family matters private to protect their children from judgment, keeping her family matters private to shield her children from judgment. There are many more untold stories of love, family, and sacrifices from the past. The next one promises to be just as surprising and heartwarming. Madam still accepts clients. Madam sometimes took clients too. Yes, you heard it right. Many of these women started as former working girls themselves, familiar with the allure of their profession. And even as they transitioned into the role of madams, some couldn't resist the temptation to continue what they did in the past, blurring the boundaries of their position. Imagine the most elite and high-class clients, seeking the companionship of these alluring women who had mastered the art of seduction. In a fascinating turn of events, some madams opted for a different currency to satisfy their desires, swapping services for personal favors instead of cold, hard cash. It was a world of power, where appeal and influence intertwined, granting these enterprising women an edge over their competition. In the heart of New Mexico, a woman named Madame Toulis captivated hearts and minds with her irresistible appeal. Her journey from a former working girl to becoming a successful madam was a testament to her tenacity and charm. But here's the twist. Madame Toulis wasn't running a parlor. She was curating a clientele of the most high-class individuals in society, and it was not always cash that exchanged hands in her establishment. Personal favors and influence often secured her business deals. Meanwhile, in the charming city of Lexington, Kentucky, there is a madam named Belle Brazing. She held court over a clientele of only the classiest men. As the model for Belle Watling in Margaret Mitchell's iconic novel, Belle Brazing was no ordinary woman. She was a master of pleasure, catering to businessmen, army officers, and members of the upper class. Her skills in the art of seduction not only earned her national renown, but also afforded her the kind of influence that few could rival. In this world of charm and allure, transactions went beyond mere money, and personal favors bought influence that shaped destinies. Great strategizing, a must-skill as a saloon madam, for a tantalizing journey into the world of madams. A world where resourcefulness has no bounds and jobs are extended far beyond the parlor doors. Imagine a town buzzing with whispers of intrigue and secrets. Here, madams like Tessie Wall held the keys to power, and they knew how to use their wiles and staff of women. Dressed in the finest European fashions, her girls paraded through the streets like stars. Drawing the attention of potential clients is a must, but Tessie didn't stop there. She was a master of spectacle and showmanship. When public events called for grand entrances, she appeared with her most captivating ladies, ensuring all eyes were on them. It was a marketing strategy like no other, a parade of allure that left the town spellbound. But then another madam named Jessie Heyman came to town and wanted to be as popular as Tessie. She wasn't about to let Tessie Wall steal the limelight, so she took a page from Tessie's book, imitating her every move. In the game of one-upmanship, Jessie Heyman met the challenge head-on. Yet, little did she know that her actions would trigger a response from Tessie that only elevated her rival's fame. Withholding girls from the shows only intensified the attention and curiosity surrounding Tessie Wall and her establishment. The Battle of the Madams was an epic clash of cunning minds and strategic maneuvers. There was also a lady named Jenny Rogers, who was good at using tricks to get what she wanted. In the realm of madams, these tactics were fair game, and Jenny Rogers, a woman not to be underestimated, proved how valuable such skills could be. When she discovered a local politician's secret visits to her parlor, she seized the opportunity to capitalize on his vulnerability. A well-placed threat of exposure transformed into a whopping $17,000 payday. It was a testament to the power a madam could wield when armed with information that could shatter reputations. These madams were very resourceful, meaning they knew how to get things done differently. They used bribery and secret deals and even made friends with hotel workers and others to bring more customers to their places. They were like masters of making people do what they wanted. In this world, the madams were the ones in control. They had lots of stories of ambition, cleverness, and incredible shows. And who knows how many more tales like these are hidden in history. It's all so fascinating. If you enjoyed the video, check out the next one for more interesting historical facts.